Okay, I'm going to describe, excuse me, bit of rapé going on there. Um, Last night's my 29th ayahuasca ceremony, which was again with Mira and Yana, which is specifically why I went. It's raw ayahuasca. It was very strong. I had quite a lot last night. And the reason that they suggested raw aya to me on the Casa del Sol retreat was to bypass my kidney and liver, so that I don't feel the cold from the Aya brew so much, because Yana suspects that my kidneys are a bit weak, and so the raw Aya bypasses the kidneys. And Mira explained to me this morning, like as an example, he said your kidneys are like the fire below a boiling pot. He said, and if the fire is not right, where the pot is your stomach, you don't generate enough heat. And because I seem to have been drained, the only explanation, the way I see it, is having that entity, that negative entity attached to me, which was sucking my own sort of spiritual energy. So Yana was there just at the beginning to take some liquid tobacco and open the ceremony with us. She didn't have any ayahuasca because she had a friend staying, but she sang one Icaro for me, and then it was just me and Mira for the rest of the evening. Again, similar to Santiago's Maloka, because I think I said in the last video, I didn't realize they were actually both Mira and Yana are trained San Pedro shamans as well. So they're just really great people. They've done a lot working with the Shuar people, which is southern Ecuador, I believe. Maybe northern Peru, close anyway on the border, but totally different than Peruvian shamanism. So they had this really big camping metal, metal cup, but Mira put it in my hands and said, "Oh, just hold it for a while you make your intention before you drink it, because it's just come out the fridge." And so my hands were like this far apart holding this mug, and it was full to the brim. So again, took quite a while to chug that down in one go. We had some liquid tobacco just before, as I said, which again, it really does help calm you down, but a lot of it went, tip your head back, and a lot of it went right down into my throat, which I had to swallow so you don't spit out your intention. My intention for last night was really just trying to clear up as the residual, the last bits of eczema that are left in my body from the decades of damage that's been done and internal stress, etc., which can be for many reasons, no doubt, but really affects your blood. And when I sweat, I'm allergic to my own sweat, presumably for the toxins that come out, and causes the itching and the inflammation sometimes, and which is always at night around my crotch, which is particularly annoying when you're trying to drop off to sleep. But anyway, so I glugged this stuff down, and as usual, well wrapped up because it's cool at night, and I feel the cold. So I was pretty comfortable for the first couple of hours, but it came on reasonably quickly because I hadn't eaten since probably 2 p.m, and after about an hour, Mira came over to me and he said, how you doing? And he said, I'm starting to feel the medicine. And I said, yeah, it's happened pretty quick for me. After about 20 minutes, I said, I can feel it, but I feel fine. There's no discomfort and I'm not cold. Just sort of lying there with a couple of blankets over me and upright. So I was pretty good. He said, well, when you're ready, you can take some more. And I said, do you suggest it? He said, yeah. He said, you should take more, try and get the most out of it. So after I said, well, I'll see how I go. And I gave it more than an hour, I suppose. And I was feeling okay. And then just wanted to see how any trips to the toilet were going to go. And I wanted just to go for a walk, because I wanted to clarify after my first experience, which is really interesting, of just how the ayahuasca alone affects your body, and which components of a normal ayahuasca ceremony relate to what specific feelings you might have. So now this has confirmed it, because when I went to go for a pee, the wobbly walk again, gee whiz, it's really Tripsville, and really a bit shaky, and you're just trying to wobbling around. My balance was all over the place. But that was nothing compared to after taking the second lot, which was half as much again in the same mug. And once that kicked in, I could really feel that. And then I got really cold anyway. I could feel the ayahuasca chill. And then I stayed cold for the rest of the night. Then didn't get much sleep, but definitely got some, because Mira woke me up about 8 in the morning. But when I started to get stomach pains after the second one. I was getting these really sharp, stabbing pains in my stomach. And then it's just thought, this has gone right through now. The first lot's gone right through, and it's causing diarrhea as it's flushing my intestinal system out. And then I had the second load just sitting on my stomach still. And as it moved through, I get these really sharp pains going from various places. And I thought, right, before we do the next little section, which Mira had told me, again, something slightly different. For me specifically, he said there's a particular plant leaf that he grows there, which he first came across when he was working with the Shwa people. I think I called them the Shwama people the other night. I must have been thinking about food or something. So the Shwa people, they have this particular leaf. It's probably about, I don't know, 8 inches long and a kind of a spiky oval, eye-shaped leaf. And he said, I'm going to rub this. First of all, he gave me 3 leaves. And he said, just rub them in your hands and breathe it in to get sort of into your system. He said, and then later on, I'll put a poultice just of these, I'll rub it on your back and leave some on. And then when you lie down, you have to lie on your back. He had to take my shirt off and everything while he applied it after the second drink, so that when I then try and just relax for the rest of the night, get some sleep. He said, you want to lie on your back for at least, try and do an hour, but at least half an hour, just lying with this leaf right at the base of my back, where my pain has always resided since the compression injuries. So he got a really, really long, nearly 3 foot long, big banana leaf, and he laid that on my blanket. So it was the other leaves, which I can't remember the name of because my short-term memory is shit. So I lay back down, and then he covered me over with the blankets with no top. I had 3 blankets on top, a few below, because it's just a dirt floor, compressed dirt, so it's pretty cold. But we had the fire going, which was really nice. And he told me a story as well about this leaf when he was working with the Shwa people. That there was a boy in that village who was playing football, and he did that classic break of the shin, where it's split completely in half, where he's twisted or whatever, and it's completely clean cut that bone. And his father was brought, and they were going to say, it's a serious break, we'll have to take him to hospital. But then the local village shaman came along and said, well, you can go to hospital if you like. He said, but I can treat this. So they let him do it, and he said he gave the 10-year-old boy a strong medicinal drink that knocked him out for 3 days, and then they reset the bone and put this particular leaf all the way around the joint. And then after 3 days, the boy woke up and got up and was walking on his leg. But and he was like, hey, take it easy, you only just had a break. But so that's how quickly, because this particular leaf is really good for joints and muscles and tendons and sort of healing the bones. So that's what I've had. And although my back was really uncomfortable last night because of the cold, once we got into the ceremony, I had backache as usual, which ayahuasca does because it's part of that healing process. It tends to bring back the pain, especially with the cold, and all my muscles start to go into protective lock again, which is normal for spinal injuries where you've had constant tension, because the muscles tense to try and protect. They're trained to just keep, after the initial trauma, they just think that the slightest thing is going to damage the spine again, and they lock. But of course it causes cramp and compressed nerves and stuff, so it's really painful. Anybody who's had compression injuries knows exactly what I mean. and and then with the cold being really stiff and getting up. But the effect of the second cup, when I had to go to the shower block for this, because obviously it was toilet stuff, and so walking up with my headlamp on full white and wobbly as hell, and Mira said to me, he said, little tip, he said, when you're walking, just trust your legs, they know how to walk. He said, don't sort of look at the ground, because it's really like being on a ship, it's like, oh geez. But the visual hallucinations you can still get with raw ayahuasca when you've had a lot of it, fuck, they're powerful, because you can get, like, just moving your eye muscles, you can get these shooting white and colored lights, and it's really disorientating, especially when you're trying to walk. And when I got up to the toilet block and turned the main lights on for the toilets, it was really strange, because you move your hand like this and you just see these kind of static shadow of your hand moving, like you see things in like a mouse pointer going across the screen, and then you look and there's flashing. And also there was a really strange vibration effect from the light being on, which is like a really fast flicker. And Yana said to me this morning, she said, that's where you're seeing like the individual vibrations that you're open to of the light, and she said you're seeing all these particles sort of in slow motion sort of thing, but it just leaves like a blur, like you do that across the screen and see the trail. Really disorientating when you need to get rid of some diarrhea, and then I managed that, and then just before I was finished, I got a really strong thought, holy shit, my mouth started to fill with saliva. I thought, oh great, think, fuck, I'm gonna puke, so at least I'll remove some of this stomach before I go down and have these leaves put on, and then can relax for the night, hopefully. So literally had to stand up and then turn around to the toilet, and I vomited up quite a bit. And there was quite a lot of ayahuasca chunks that had found shit in my stomach, so that came out. So that was a bit of a cleansing, and enough to see the liquid in my stomach with a bit of, the watery. I hadn't drunk much water, but just the content was bile, sort of yellow, but quite watery with the ayahuasca drink. And of course, the taste unpleasant. Then once that was done, I thought, well, at least hopefully there's no more, and hopefully in the night no more diarrhea. Because previous experience of that, the last thing you want is diarrhea when you're asleep and don't wake up. Trust me, I've had that in the past. Not nice to wake up soiled in the middle of the night, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you can still feel a bit of ayahuasca and you've got to clean yourself up. That's not fun, especially in the middle of the jungle. So very, very powerful. Once the second glass hit, with the first lot going through and just causing, not palpable ayahuasca experience with the first one, but the second one on top, man, those hallucinations when you're walking and have to be in normal light. Yeah, interesting. So that was pretty much that. And then I woke up with Mira woke me up, said, "Oh, time for liquid tobacco," and I was sort of half asleep. So I must have fallen asleep at least for, I don't know. It didn't feel like I slept at all, which is like on the Cambo video. You can see, your eyes are really tired. But the Cambo ceremony afterwards was absolutely brilliant, because I had the 5 dots, which you saw on that video, and it was the fastest it was over. And Yana said, this is really good, and so did Mira. He said, wow, he said, that's really good that you got it out so quick, because I had 3 major, this time he filled the same mug, but it was lukewarm water, which really helped too. So I had probably 3 cups of that. I didn't want to take too much, because I know from previous experience, if I drink a lot of water, I'm peeing for the rest of the day, even if I don't drink anymore, because you've taken so much in through your colon, or your intestines, and then you're just running to the toilet. So I was kind of aware from like my first time, where I just did what they said and just kept drinking loads of water, but I was going to the toilet for the whole day. It was a pain in the ass, like every 20 minutes when you're trying to rest afterwards. So this was the cleanest and quickest Cambo vomiting. It was over and done with in about 15 minutes, which was great. And he said, that's really good, because he's getting more like him. His Cambo sessions are really quick. When Mira does Cambo, he just vomits more or less instantaneously. Gets 3. They like to have 3 large purges, to clean your stomach out. And again, a little bit of kind of omelette, tiny little pieces of bile that come up, but bulk of it was just yellow water and again biley, which is what you want to get that cleansing. So I felt pretty good afterwards, and I was hoping that I didn't have any more stomach upset afterwards, because I had to, I thought getting the taxi back from their place, which is all the way to Hotel Paris, so it's about half an hour drive for about $12. It's the route south of Vilcabamba for about 20 minutes, but then you have to take a turn off up into the mountains to their place, and it's a really some steep, windy road. You need like all the taxis here are 4-wheel flatbed ute type trucks to handle the terrain around here. So just the road to their place off the main highway is probably 10 to 15 minutes drive to their house. So I didn't want to be feeling sick, and I wasn't. So I was pretty good once that Cambo ceremony was over. So it was the best one yet, as far as not feeling too bad for too long, and just once the vomit was done, felt okay. Lay down for a little bit and then headed up to the house. Chatted to Yana while she was getting me a taxi, which took about half an hour to arrive. And she made me a really nice green drink, which I can't remember what was in it, which was okay for my stomach. And then I got back to the hotel, feeling pretty good. Very tired, obviously, not much sleep. Like with all of these long ceremonies, just very tired. And so I had a shower, and then got in the sweat, which I was really looking forward to ease all the the aching muscles and stuff. So I had about 15 minutes in the sweat room, and came back, got changed, and then went up for lunch, and then tried to sleep a bit in the afternoon. Had a nap, not long, I don't think, after 4 hours of just trying and dozing. But I did have a little bit of a kip, and then woke up at about 6:10 this evening, and went up, had a cup of coffee, and with the view to doing some Cambo in the evening, which I've just done a little bit of, not too strong. I barely felt it, actually. It did get up into my sinuses a little bit, but it didn't have the same power or burning effect, and I didn't really get that kind of instantaneous launch. Which I'll just do another one again, always with the respect for the medicine. Smoking, smoke the pipe first with a little prayer and thankfulness to Mira and Yana for hosting me last night, and again having such a really great cleansing ceremony. So I'm feeling really good now. So that was ceremony 29 for me now. So 28 and 29 were raw Cambo. So very interesting. Raw ayahuasca, I mean. So again, really interesting. I'll do another video in a minute while I remember, because again, at the start of last night, we were talking about negative entities and dark energy that affects people, because Mira's really hot on, he knows his biology really well, and he's always talking in terms of, especially because he's a big fan of Cambo, because it's helped him so much. It's healed him from, he's got a lower back injury as well that he's had for years, and that helps him with that. And again, like me, he does like Tai Chi and Qigong type stretch exercises every morning. And like me, if he doesn't do it, you can have the odd day off to just rest if you feel that you shouldn't do anymore. But if I don't do those stretches, then generally I'll start to seize up again. And he said he's the same. But Cambo has also healed him of really bad tendonitis. And obviously he loves Cambo. It's because it's a great medicine, because it's over so quick in comparison to other plant medicines. You get a really good purge within even your first time, 40 minutes, maybe less than an hour, and you're done. And if you don't have any bad stomach issues, or just because it's a strain on you, you can just go and not even rest. You can just go straight up and have breakfast or whatever if you're not that dirty. And then if you do have a little kip, you wake up, and you say, you feel really energized and really good at the end of the day, which is how I feel now. I've got plenty of energy after a kip, and my skin, my eyes are a lot better. The skin's kind of relaxed after the sweat and after the cleansing and whatnot. So I'm really feeling that I'm starting to heal now after the Santiago's exorcism of getting rid of that bulk dark shit that was been with me for who knows decades probably. So the next video I'll do now as well, which is separate, because when we sat in front of the fire at the start and I was talking to them about Capitari and the witnessing the possession of Jack and the exorcism, and then this morning Mira felt okay about talking about some of his experiences, and so he told me about one which I'll relay in the next video, because that's just an interesting story about these entities. I don't want to seem to harp on about these as if all I talk about with ayahuasca experience, and I certainly don't want to frighten anybody. But the more you go on this path, the longer you're on it, like anything, the more you learn. And I barely scratched the surface in 8 months of some of the things that can go on. But as you get used to different shamans, or especially if they're really nice and you can have a really good relationship with them. And in general conversation, they can start to open up. As I said in the previous videos, because shamans probably, they all have to face these things to know how to deal with them and not have any fear. And if they're strong enough to know how to dispel them, especially when they're extracting them from people, they have to be really careful that they're well protected with either their helper spirits and stuff like that, because as I've said before, the shaman's role in many cases is the negative energy that they extract from people has to go through them. So they're at a little bit of risk from being contaminated themselves. So they always have to make sure that they expel that straight away. So I'll tell that little short story because it was interesting, because of the way of what that person had done in their life to be in that situation where they needed cleansing, and then what happened, which was quite interesting. So I'll do that next.